Hi, in this video we will do a few examples where the directions say to write the rational expressions as equivalent rational expressions with the given denominators. Our first problem, we have the fraction with x plus 3 on top and 3x on the bottom. We want to change this into another fraction that has 6x to the second on the bottom. The first thing you ask yourself is, well, we had 3x on the bottom. I want to change it into 6x squared on the bottom. How do I do that? What do I need to multiply by? Well, 3 times what gives you 6? 3 times 2 is what gives you 6. And then, well, x times what gives you x to the second? We need one more x. So really, if I take the bottom, the 3x, and multiply it by 2x, I get 6x to the second. But if I multiply the bottom of the fraction by 2x, I also need to multiply the top of the fraction by the same thing. So we need to multiply the top of the fraction also by 2x. If we distribute that 2x into the parentheses, because really you have to multiply the whole top by 2x, you need that parentheses. 2x times x is 2x squared, and 2x times 3 is a positive 6x, and there is your answer. For the next one, we have the fraction 7 over x plus 2. We want to change that into another fraction with an x plus 2 times an x minus 8 on the bottom. Right now you have an x plus 2 in the bottom. What is it missing that the second fraction has? Well, the second fraction has an x minus 8 that the first fraction is missing. So I need to multiply the top and the bottom of the first fraction by what it's missing. In other words, I need to multiply the top and the bottom of the first fraction by x minus 8. On top, if you distribute that 7, you get 7x minus 56, and that is your second fraction. Last one on here is the toughest one of the bunch, not because it's super hard, but just because you see we start with an x minus 6 on the bottom, and you say, well, I need to change the x minus 6 into x squared minus 7x plus 6. How to do that? Well, we don't know at first, but really the first thing we should do is to factor that second denominator. Since it starts with a 1, we're going to do that number puzzle. Take the first number, the 1 times a 6. You want to find two numbers that multiply to 6 that add up to the middle number, which is negative 7. Solve that number puzzle, and you get the answers. Negative 6 times negative 1 is what gives you positive 6, and negative 6 plus negative 1 is what gives you negative 7. So now, if I rewrite the original problem, first fraction was x minus 3 over x minus 6. I'm going to put those in parentheses. It's going to help us a little bit in the next step. And the second fraction, the denominator factors. You can go straight to your parentheses because it starts with a 1. If it didn't start with a 1, you'd have to do the whole grouping process. But no, it starts with a 1. You can go in straight to your parentheses. They both start with an x. And the numbers that you put in those blanks are the numbers that you got from your puzzle, the negative 6 and the negative 1. And now it looks very much like the previous problem. You say, well, I have an x minus 6 on the bottom of the first fraction. I'm missing the x minus 1 that the second fraction has. So I have to multiply the top and the bottom of the first fraction by x minus 1. Now the denominators are the same, and on top of the first fraction, you need to FOIL or distribute those two parentheses. X times x is x squared. X times negative 1 is minus 1x. Negative 3 times x is minus 3x. Negative 3 times negative 1 is a positive 3. And when you combine the like terms in the middle, you get x squared minus 4x plus 3 on the top, and the bottom stays the same as x minus 6, x minus 1. In this chapter, in general, you want to leave the bottom factored, and usually you'll want to distribute on the top. Not always, but usually we'll want to distribute on top. The bigger deal is leave the bottom factored. Hopefully this helped you a little bit. Any questions, let me know. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye.